Hey, Phil and Jason, I'm just waiting on them to open up a portal on the other side so you guys can see what's going on. So once that comes up, you'll be able to see what's happening. And
Awesome. Sounds good. Can't wait.
For those of you that have just been joining us, they are working on getting the connection on the other end and getting things going. So as soon as they get that done, it'll come up and you'll be able to see what's happening. Just wanted to let you know what's happening, what's going on.
Hello, everyone. This is Shanadiah. I am the chair for the Hampton Roads Virginia Production Alliance. I just want to let you know that we will be getting started in about 15 minutes. We are in the concession, the refreshments, and socialization here in person. So as they enjoy themselves and as they begin to associate with one another, we will be right back with you in about 15 minutes at 6:30. Thank you.
So feel free to network with each other here on Zoom if you'd like.
And they must be having a lot of fun over there. Must be eating all types of hors d'oeuvres and greatness. They must be drinking some nice spritzers, maybe maybe a little white wine, maybe. I'm not sure. There must be a lot of fun going on over there. I'm out here in Galax, so it's about a 5-hour trip for me, but I don't know about everybody else. But hopefully we get something going on because I got to get back to editing. Just got done shooting last weekend. Finally got the mix back. How's about everybody else?
Hi, I'm just saying hi.
Hey!
You didn't feel like you're out there alone.
Oh, it's all good. That's just where I am. I'm out here alone. My best friends are cows.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, but no, not really. It's a decent sized regular population density, but not as much as Virginia, as Richmond.
Gotcha.
But where are they at though? What's the address? Oh, Norfolk. Okay. I think I know where that is. I'm gonna pretend that I do.
You know where Virginia Beach is?
Yes.
Right there. They're next to each other.
It's on the East Coast, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. So
you got finished. You said you're editing now?
Yeah. I just started. So it's like I'm in the organization stage.
Yes.
I don't know, however people, whatever people do. The beginning stage, so to speak.
What's
So
your book about?
What's it about? Yeah. Oh, it's nothing special. What do you like to do in this industry? I'm really bad at okay, let's first and foremost, Charita, is that how you pronounce it? Charita. Sharita.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very awkward in person, so I've kind of figured out my ways around that whole thing. With in person, I can kind of get by with that. But it's like now I've got to figure out how to do it over online and Zoom and telecast. I swear to God, I've never done this before until the pandemic started. I'm all about phone calls. You don't got to see my face. I don't got to see your face. But it's like I don't know, stuff like this is different. It's definitely a way to get over those beautiful stages of blossom in our lives.
Yeah. Understood. New way of life.
So what are you trying to adapt? This is, it's all about books to screenplay. What do you want to go from book to screenplay?
Well, I have a couple of that I've read, and I've never done it. I've never written a book from a screenplay before. So I wanted to, I thought this was a really good opportunity to hear somebody actually speak about it, because it's one thing to read and, you can hear things, but I'm like, I want to hear somebody talk about what that process is actually like, because I do have a few things I'm interested in and want to, just get some ideas and some direction on where to start. Like, I have no idea. I haven't done that before. So I've just written screenplays before. So I'm still kind of a newbie and getting my feet wet in a lot of things. And
well, yeah, I think everybody is to a degree. It's like, I don't know, kind of what I'm gathering is you kind of have to make up your own way.
Yeah.
But really, it's like taking little bits of pieces from a lot of different people and making it like your own kind of ball of sorts. And if you grew up in South Side or North Side or West Side or East Side, you're getting a little bit of different stuff from these different areas. And I don't know, that's kind of my interpretation of it all. I don't know. I just, I taught myself how to play bass when I was like 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I could brag about. Nothing else. Nothing else. That's it. I thought that's it. That's the only thing. So I just kind of take that and put it to this film stuff. Yeah, it's like yeah, we shot over the weekend. You know, I called one of the guys from the VPA, and pretty much while we was at lunch, only 1 hour, and I was like, hey, I asked a couple questions, and I mean, almost immediate response, and it's been really helpful being in the VPA and just being able to get those little tidbits of information from all these different walks of life. Not everybody here is from Virginia. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, which is pretty much like 2.5 hours from where I am in Virginia. But so it's like I got a little bit of different. Charlotte is a little different from New York, but it's a city. It's the city. Don't get it twisted. It's a city. But it's a little different from Richmond, from what I gathered. And yeah, man, we should know what they should have did. They should have been like, hey guys, we're gonna have some drinks and hors d'oeuvres. Maybe y'all could bring some stuff and kind of go around the table, because what I'm eating right now is tape measure. I snacked on some Doritos earlier. I'm good for like a solid 5 days. I don't know. I'm just riffing right now.
That sounds like a Naked and Afraid diet where they only have like 1 acorn for 14 days.
He had the acorn and I had the ruler.
Ugh, that's a rough one.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. So you're in Richmond? Where are you?
I'm in Galax, Virginia.
Okay, where I have
It's like, yeah, don't feel alone like I do. Yeah, it's right on the border of North Carolina. It's like right next to Mount Airy.
Okay.
North Carolina. If you know where that is, it's just on the border. It's right there.
Fun stuff.
Far away, on the more of the west side than the coastal regions. What about you? Where are you at?
I'm in Northern Virginia. I'm in Woodbridge. So like 20 minutes south of DC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're almost like literally the opposite of me. Like you're on the northern border. I'm on the southern border, pretty much. That's cool.
Yep.
So what's some book ideas you want to translate into? What are some of your inspirations?
I mean, there's a couple of like just a couple of fiction books that I'm kind of looking at. I found one, but I'm just like, I'm very curious. Like I've always loved sci-fi. I'm just very much a sci-fi nerd. I don't know why.
Oh, yeah.
This probably surprises a lot of people. I'm like, I just love it. I love aliens, Terminator, anything sci-fi. I don't know what that just rocks my world. But so there's this book called The Apollo Murders, and I was very curious about it because it's, I mean, a murder happening on a spaceship. I thought was very interesting. So I don't know that I have like a very specific book like I definitely want to do. That would be something I would, one day. I mean, that's very, up there in terms of, reach, but more or less just have like just the idea that I would love to, that's an idea I would like to get into, is from books to screenplay. And there's just a couple that have piqued my interest that made me realize that might be something I'd be interested in doing too.
So the Apollo murders, is this like a conspiracy, or is this like an adaptation of what of the moon landing?
No,
it's like the book itself.
Yeah, it's fictional. It's not like
all fictional. Okay, yeah. I didn't know if that was a thing or not. Flat earthers and the spherical system, I guess, is what normal people call it. I don't know. Okay. Yeah. That's a pretty good, like that, like a more, like on a serious note, but there's murder on a spaceship. Maybe someone goes crazy from like just being out in space. Thought they could handle it. I don't know. Something like that. I've always wanted to do like a space prison kind of thing.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It's like it's a space prison for like, it's like pretty much Alcatraz on super meth, but it would be like there's no human authority. It's all robotic, but they're not like android humanoid robots. They're like almost like assembly line robots. And they have like the worst of the worst on there. And how our hero escapes is by the mechanic robot coming to fix this default, this imperfection on the spaceship. And yeah, it's a loose idea, but yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
I like incarceration. Incarceration fascinates me. It really does. You know, everything from, you know, prisoners of war to, you know, just the American way of incarceration to like overseas incarceration, like how all the different, like how do you
Hello everyone, how are you?
Society.
Hi.
Pretty good.
Hello.
Right in the middle of it. Jeez.
I see you guys are socializing. That's wonderful. Again, my name is Shanadiah Nicole. I am the chair for the Virginia Production Alliance, the Hampton Roads District. We are currently at the Percolator in Norfolk. And so Lamont Ferguson is here, but I'd like to first give a brief intro, as you all may have already read if you have gotten the email, which I'm sure you did, a little bit about him, but I'm going to read it anyway. So we're getting ready to hear from Lamont Ferguson. He is a Detroit native that resides in the Virginia area. Ferguson is an award-winning comedian, actor, writer that has traveled the road of entertainment for many years. He has performed for dignitaries such as councilmen and women, as well as for our troops. He has worked with Cat Williams and opened for national acts such as Charlie Murphy, Tony Woods, Jordan Rock, and Shantae Wayans. He has participated in comedy festivals along the East Coast, including the World Series of Comedy. Other acting credits include The Good Lord Bird, Thanksgiving with the Carters Family Reunion, Mother of a Day, Employee of the Year, and other independent projects. He can also be seen in stage plays. His projects can be seen on Roku TV, Showtime, Amazon Prime, Tubi, and the Discovery Channel. Ferg is also part owner of Fresh Option TV, which can be seen on Amazon Fire TV and Roku TV. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you all to Lamont Ferguson for our second book to screenplay to film. This is take 2 with Lamont Ferguson. Yay!
Thank you all for being here. Where should I start? I should start at the beginning of this thing, right?
Yes.
So my journey from Detroit, Michigan, my journey started, I thought I wanted to, be a lawyer. And I hit the stage. My first time on stage was a French play. And that was in middle school. And at that time, I was like, I don't think it's okay. And I always used to watch Matlock with my dad, and I used to watch Murder, She Wrote with my grandmother. And I was like, I like these law type things. I think that's what I wanted to do. But as I went along this journey in the Detroit Public Schools, I actually started going to a vocational school, which is Go Lightly Vocational School. And I began to actually study radio and TV broadcasting and start focusing on television and the writing. And so at that point, my teacher ruined television for me because he said, once you're in this class, TV, you're going to find all the wrongs and the rights of television and the writing and the acting and things of that nature. And then I started to realize I really didn't want to be a lawyer. I really wanted to be an actor. So that's where the real love came in. So I started going down the path of an actor, becoming an actor, and then actually in my 12th grade year going into college, I wrote my first stage play, which was called Oh Lord, Not My Child. And that story was about a family, a Christian family, and the young man, he grew up in the church and things of that nature, and he actually got AIDS from his girlfriend. So he ended up turning his back on God, and the whole message was it's never too late. And what happened, she didn't know that she had AIDS. So he ended up getting saved at the end because the whole story came out of how he ended up getting AIDS. And I got a great response out of that. And that was at Liberty University, my freshman year. And like I said, and from that point, I was like, oh, I like both sides. I like the performance side and I like the writing side. And then from there, I started to write more, perform more. I began to perform comedy, which also that's huge in writing. And I came across Full Sail University, which I went to school to get my MFA, my Master's in Fine Arts. And I learned everything about writing screenplays and things of that nature, television. During that time, I was actually presented the opportunity to take a book from a book to a screenplay. And that process, that was actually, the name of that book was Finding Chris My Father. And the author of that book is Vincent Ellis White. Very, very bright young man. And his story, he found his father later on in life. And you have to go find that book. You have to find that book. I don't want to destroy it. But however, if you go online, you still can purchase that book. We put that play on back in 2011. And now the process with that, before I go further with the other projects, I find that converting a book to a screenplay is easier than creating a screenplay from scratch, because all the characters are there and you already have the whole formula of what's going on, you know what I mean? So you just have to pull the characters out and all that. All the backstory is already written for you. You can get creative with it, but depend on the author. You know, most authors will want you to stay close to the story. So it still takes a bit. It still takes some time because you got to go. First of all, you got to read the book. And as a writer, it's funny because I'm not a huge reader, but I love writing. It's just like it's clash. It's oxymoron. But however, I read the book from front to back, and very interesting story. And actually, I met him through Miss Ellen. She promotes authors and stuff like that in the Williamsburg, Yorktown area. But so this, you don't have to create anything. It's already there. So the roadmap is there. So I converted that book from a book to a stage play. Then the next thing that I wrote was Until Death Do Us Part. That was actually a stage play that I wrote that back probably around the same time, 2011, 2012, and I put that up quite a few times. Now I actually took the stage play and broke it down to a series. And that was pretty interesting because when you write for a stage play, you of course write it in its entirety. But in order to break it down to episodes, you have to make sure each part of that story has a hook before you can't just, okay, I'm gonna end at scene 3 and then that would be the end of the first episode. You still have to create a hook. Now, the big project that I actually worked on 2 books for a gentleman named by the name of First. He actually produced he was one of the producers of Mother of a Day. And we actually created a relationship out of it. He was like, man, I want you to read this book. I want you to convert this book into into a film. And I was like, man, you sure? Because it's an urban book. I'm like, I'm not a huge urban fan. It's funny, like I say, I don't really like reading that much, but you have to write, you have to read. But however, I read this book from the beginning to the end. It's called Angel, and it's a very, 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 very good story. And so with that, I had to grab the characters out of that and make sure everything flows, because when you have a book, there's a lot of details in the book. So you have to pull those details out and make it make sense for the story. So, the scene, you have to really set the scene for the actual screenplay. Now, as far as writing from an original story, most of you all know Miss Shannon Dyer. We actually sat down, we kicked around the idea about a film, a theory, like a conspiracy theory type film. And the name of that is called The Society. And that it's about 10 years old now. It's still trying to do some things with it. But however, now the process of writing that. Some people think that you can just start writing characters out of the air and have the dialogue going back and forth. But when you're creating characters, there's a whole backstory to each character. So say for instance, you have I'm just actually doing this one. You have Chuck. Chuck is a military guy who was dishonorably discharged from the military, and he's facing a situation with his ex-wife. He's facing losing his child, so he actually gets involved in a group called the Society. And the Society is an organization who hires hitmen for politicians. And they pretty much these guys lower the crime rate if the politician needs a certain area to have a low homeless rate or a low crime rate. So he gets caught up in this group. Long story short, he ended up wanting to get out, but this is the type of group that you can't get out of unless you die. But he had to figure out how he could get out of this group, because the reason why he wants to get out of this group, he finds out his son is sick and he can't afford like health care things of that nature. So he has to decide ultimately whether to keep killing and make money, or stop, for his child to live, or if he stopped killing, then he will end up dying. So now, I didn't just pull these characters out of the air. I had to create a backstory on each character. So each character has to have something going on. So say, for instance, you have character A, and character A has to have some type of background. And the background is he married? Is he divorced? Was his parents divorced? Was he in a good home? What's his sign? So you have to do, because these type of people move different. So you have to make sure you create a backstory for your dialogue to make sense in the story. Because, like, there are a lot of people out here who are huge zodiac sign followers. And like, somebody will say, what's your sign, Virgo? What's your sign? I'll say Virgo. Oh, Virgos are this and that. I don't know. I just know I'm Virgo. But most people know the signs are, Gemini, say two-faced. So if this character happens to be a Gemini, and if it comes out in the story that he's a Gemini, then people that knows the zodiac signs really well, they know that this guy has to have a personality that's related to being two-faced. So you have to make it make sense. So when you start writing your dialogue, the story will flow better than rather than you just picking characters out of the air. Now, my process, every writer has a process. Everybody, some people speak their lines in their poems. Some people set a specific time to write. Okay, today it's Wednesday. I'm using today. Today is Saturday, so I'm going to write from 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock. Some people can do that. I'm the type of person, I can't write within a confined time. It has to happen throughout the day, or when that idea happens, that's when I have to start writing. Do I write the whole thing out? No. What I actually do is I write bullet points. But actually, before I get to the bullet points, I do a whole thing, a brain dump. And a brain dump is taking everything that you're thinking about writing, and then you dumping it on the paper. Don't worry about editing, punctuation, correct spelling. You just lay it all out on the paper. So whether it's 2 to 3 pages, whether it's a page, you have an idea of, what you want to write. So from that point, then you can start pulling out your characters one by one. And I actually recently did that last year with a sitcom that I wrote, which is on Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, and that's on our channel, Fresh Option TV. Plug, everybody, make sure y'all download, all of y'all download Fresh Option TV, and y'all out there, Fresh Option TV. So, Miss Nadine Owens, she's an advocate for females. She speaks all over the place. Public speaker, I should say. She's a public speaker, and she was like, Lamont, I like your work, X, Y, and Z, but I want a show kind of geared towards women. And we joke back and forth. She said, I don't want to be corny, you know what I mean? So I got to, like, that very same day, like, we talked maybe literally 4 o'clock. I said, okay, I got you. She said, okay, well, I'll talk to you over the weekend and with an idea. I said, sure. So I sat down and I started writing. I started writing different ideas. What can I write? one of my favorite shows growing up was Cheers. And that was actually a male-dominated TV show. And all the guys at the bar, Norm, and they had their different experiences and relationships. And I was like, what if I did something that's similar to that, but have women as the lead? So that's how I came up with the cafe. So the cafe is led by women. However, so it's led by women. The first episode is already in the can. It's already up on the channel. We are actually already wrote the second episode, so that will be coming out sometime this year. For mostly more time before the end of the summer, prayerfully, because we are working with working actors, and it's a great thing that they're working actors, but the flip side is they're working actors, so the schedules are very difficult. So I kind of wanted to give you a snapshot of where I've been, where I've been. I want to really touch bases with that, back to the whole writing process for me. So once I do the brain dump, put out everything on paper or computer, whatever you prefer. I abstract those characters from that brain dump, and then from there I really do a map. I map out the situation. So I'll put a character, then a circle, a little diagram. The circle, then what is that particular character? What is his issues? What is he interested in? I'll put a bubble. Where is he going? I put a bubble. What is he trying to achieve? I put a bubble. So that's a good way to kind of visualize where your story is going. And then from there, I just start to create the storyline. So from there, okay, now I have the cafe. So I got these ladies. What are they going to be doing? There's Jackie. There's with Jackie, she is a councilwoman, very sedity, very snappy. Then you have Lindsay. Her thing is she's been married quite a few times. She's a little ditzy. Where is she going in this story? She lacks another character, but you have to watch it. She lacks another character. So her thing is she always comes to the cafe and she always sits in the same place and she socializes with everybody. That is her thing. Victoria, her story. She's a mother, a wife. She's a school teacher, so she has a lot going on. So that's why she comes to the cafe, and she socialized with Jackie and with Lindsay. And then you have the young lady that runs the cafe. You have Miss Tiffany. She is single. She is a business owner, young black business owner. So she has her split situations. And so from that, once I figure out what each character situation will be, I now can create the episode. So what will be the main theme of this particular episode? It's the cafe. So the first episode, what happens with every business that opens? It's the grand opening. So of course they don't have a lot of patrons yet because they just opened. So the storyline there is Miss Jackie is trying to keep the casino to come to the area so that this struggling business owner is a brand new business that you want the casino to keep the flow going so people can continue to come through the area, they can see the business, but then you have someone that doesn't think that's a great idea. Then you have the councilman. And so he wants to bring the project to a halt. So you have Jackie is fighting that entity with right there. Then you have the other character in it. He's the bartender. Joe. Joe is the bartender, and he is into everything. Everything he knows about. He's nosy, but he is his own person at the same time. So you have all these different situations going on within the cafe. Like I said, you have the four main characters, which are female, and I took Cheers and pretty much flipped it on its head, and it's led by women. So each episode will have a particular message in it. Before I close on everything, I'm also writing a play. I don't have a title to it. It's still in my little bubbles stage. And this particular project is actually going to be a comedy. It's going to be the black version of Mel Brooks, so to speak. The play is going to be a parody of all black plays. So that's what this production is going to be. So I'm not finished with it yet, so I can't tell you that's the big picture that I'm going to be painting for everybody, that I am painting for everybody. It's like I said, it's going to be a comedy, it's going to be a parody of other black plays. My goal as a writer is to break the color barrier, create stories that transcend the color barrier. So when you see any of my projects, and I'm not knocking all black projects, and I'm not knocking all white projects, because I have to say that because we're in a PC world right now. But I think we have, as blacks and as a black writer, I need to assist in changing the narrative for our audiences, because right now you have an abundance of very simple shows that's out there, whether they're crime, whether the drug dealer, take over the city, then you got the good drug dealers, then you got the bad drug dealers. You know, all this stuff, I'm not knocking it because there's a lane for everything, but I just want to this help change the narrative and show a different light and show what we actually can do as writers, as producers, as directors, and as actors. Bring something else to the stage. Yes, great BT Plus, you're doing your thing. Ty Perry, he's doing his thing. But I just think that we have more stories to tell. We are innovative people. So, I think we can tell other stories. So that's pretty much my process. I do have a family, so it's a very difficult process. So I have a wife of 19 years, and I have 3 girls, a 17-year-old that's college bound, a 14-year-old that's high school bound, and I have a 8-year-old that's college bound. You know what I mean? She kind of run. But so for everybody that's out there that have families and like, man, I got a family, I got a regular job, I don't have time for this. I have a full-time job. I have I'm a full-time dad, a full-time husband, and a full-time worker, and still doing this stuff full-time as much as I can. So my thought on the end of this is you can make time for what you want to make time for. And that time that you make that time for, make it a positive one, because we all need some type of positive out here. I thank you all for being here. I appreciate the time. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And yeah, thank you.
Okay, so if you have any questions and you are on the Zoom call, please put it in the chat and we will ask them in just a few moments. I actually want to go over a few things with you.
Yes.
First thing, we talked about the book. I wanted to talk about when you got the book, what made you want to write a stage play for that particular book of all the books that you have come across?
That story, once again, it's a different story. It's not just with Vincent's story. It wasn't like a baby mama story. It was the fact that how deep the story was. He did not know his father. His mom told him that this guy was his father for so many years. She wanted this guy to be the father, but she wasn't really sure. But she couldn't tell her child that. So by the time she actually told him, he was a wreck. He ended up doing jail time and things of that nature. But however, he ended up, so she started to look for, like, okay, I need to find out who the dad is. Lo and behold, they're in the hospital. And to visit his grandmother, which is her mother, and the doctor that was in the hospital was their father. So he didn't know. So they was like, okay, yeah, they got to talking and everything. And she was like, I think you're not Vince's dad. And so once they had that conversation with Mr. Anderson and with Vincent, they went and did the test. And then they found out that was his dad was in the hospital. He worked in the hospital. The interesting part about that is he didn't just leave. It wasn't like he got her pregnant and then left. She didn't say that he was the father. So that made it a whole, like, man, that's crazy, because most people like, I'm just gonna leave and I'm gonna just live my life. And however, once they linked, man, it was like they caught up with time. And I can't imagine being in my 20s just now learning who my dad is. Like, that's pretty interesting. So, yeah.
So once you decided that that was the book that you wanted to write the stage play to, how long did it take once you got the book to have a complete work as far as stage play?
Now, yes, I know I need to do better and be better about reading. But so, however, I read the book. Me and Vince got together, and all jokes aside, we got together. We made out a plan, and I said, I think it was like an 8-month plan. I said, what I'll do is I'll read the book front to back. Then from that point, I will write it in segments. So like the first 15 to 20 pages, I'll write that. So it wasn't like I wrote the whole play and like, okay, here, what you think? And so I did it because it was easy to do it in segments to get the approval, then doing the whole thing and then have to go back and change a whole lot of stuff. So we did it in segments. So I think it was about a 6 to 8 month process because we had to do it in segments. And then once I did that, I did the whole draft. And then we did the table read. And then from there, we did the auditions. And then from there, so that the script part itself, I think, took about 8 months. So I think probably a year for the whole production to go up, because we did it at my church first, New Bethel Baptist Church in Portsmouth, Virginia, just in case y'all don't know that. And then from there, it was sold out there, and we did 2 shows. And then we took it to Richmond. I can't think of the name of the theater. I just passed it yesterday. but Henrico Theater. It was sold out there, and then we did it at the Children's Theater in Richmond, and it did well there as well.
In that particular play, I did see it in twice. And I remember there were quite a few players in that show, all men, one woman. How in the world, sir, did you get that many males, Black males especially, to come together for this particular, like, how did you find them?
So we had to do a casting call. So it was a toss out. You don't see who we did auditions, and then from there it was a low turnout. So at that point, you have to rely on who you know. What happens in society, I'm not going to just say this area, but society is when you do an audition, a lot of people try to figure out who's doing it. And if it's not up here, then I'm not interested. It's a local production, so they're not interested. But however, I called on people who I knew in the industry, in the local industry, and I called on Tony, Brett, Peter Lucas, Ma B. Oh my God, she just passed a few weeks ago, and may she rest in peace. Reached out to her. I can't think of it. Ellen, not Ellen. I can't think of her name right now. Anthea. Yeah, her. Not her as in a negative way, but she's an excellent actress. We called on quite a few people, and all of them, when we came together at the table. No, I called on Mom B for a different show. I'm sorry. That everything started to run together. She wasn't in that wasn't until Death Do Us Part.
Right.
So, but Peter Lucas was in this one.
Yes,
He was in both.
Yes.
So bottom line is, everybody, when we came to the table read, everybody read the story. They liked the story. They liked what was going on. They were able to meet Vincent. He came down and he spoke to everybody, and he told everybody like what it meant to him for this to come together. No pressure, but it meant a lot to him, and everybody came together and they did their thing. And I was, I'm happy that I had the opportunity for that to happen.
So next, how long has it taken to go from the stage play to write the screenplay?
Not long because it's already there.
Right.
So with, like, for instance, Until Death Do Us Part, I converted that from the stage play to the series. So it's already there, but however, I had to break it up in segments to where it makes sense. So I broke it up in segments and also develop a hook at the end of each segment. So you just don't break it up into like, okay, this is the end of that scene, and then that's going to be the end of that episode. Then I have to create a whole hook. So people want like, okay, what's going to happen in episode 2? What's going to happen in episode 3? What's going to happen? So you have to create a hook. So, but it's a lot easier. But when you're trying to create something from scratch, you got more work to do because you got to generate the characters and not just character names, the backstory, what's their zodiac sign, are they married, are they rich, are they poor? So you got to create all that. So that conversion was pretty easy.
Awesome. And my final question is, when you have a screenplay and you go from a screenplay to a film, what has been the average cost of, of making a film, and then the pitfalls or, pitfalls and of that you have to watch out for when making a film, your most challenging part of it?
Okay, so since I'm not Denzel or Samuel Jackson, you at this level we have to barter and trade. So like those guys, for them to write film for anybody on that level, if they were to write a film or whatever, they would have the backing right away. But at this level, you have to do a lot of barter and trade. Like, okay, look, can I use your facility and I'll make sure your name is in the credit. So like if you use a restaurant, make sure your extras, when they come to the restaurants, they purchase food and purchase stuff. So it won't be that you're using their restaurant for the movie, but make sure that they are utilizing the services that they provide as well. So it's kind of hard to say at this level what it really costs, but I know that if you paid for everything on a local level, you probably could easily spend about $15,000 easily on a local film. Or easily, that's just like the bottom. That's just if you're paying top dollar for everybody, for all your actors, top dollar for the locations and things of that nature. But when you barter and trade and you get actors and actresses to work with you, you can do it at a low cost. But when you do it at a low cost, whatever you say you're going to pay those people, you pay those people. You make sure if you say, look, I'm going to give you $150 for the role, or I'm going to give you $75. Whatever you say you're going to give to that actor or actress, make sure you do that. Because if you don't, the next time you need a favor, guess what? You're not going to be able to call that person. You're not going to be able to say, hey, Johnny, can you, they were like, nah, I'm good. And you could be actually about to produce something really good that's going to be going to the next level. And because you burnt that bridge, now you can't get Johnny. Johnny was a great actor. Or Susan or Keisha, whatever their name, whoever they are, you're not gonna be able to get them again if you don't pay them. Or if you say, look, man, I don't have a budget for this, guess what you have to do? You have to feed them. You gotta give them food. You have to feed them, because they'll say, okay, I'll do this. Ain't no problem. Feed them. Don't just be like, okay, good job, man, on set. No, don't do that. Like, with the cafe, Miss Nadine, she produced it, and of course, I was writer, director, along with Ernest Smith. He was a co-director. And when we paid the cast, and we told them we were gonna pay them, and when we actually paid the cast, they was like, "Oh, I really wasn't expecting it," because people love doing what they do, and when you show them that, yeah, I'm really gonna do it. Oh, okay, that's a plus. But if you say, okay, I'm gonna do it, and then you don't, then it's like, I thought you said you're gonna give me some money. But if you say, look, man, I'm gonna give you $50, but you find out you got a little bit more money, then you end up giving them $100. They're like, oh, I thought you said, no, you good. So you gotta make sure you follow through on your word.
Good.
Yeah.
Are there any questions in the room?
No.
Are there any questions on the call, on this Zoom call?
I see something. Is that something right there? I can't read that right now.
Right here?
Oh, okay, no, that's something else.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
I was kind of hoping someone else would go first, but cool. Firstly, let me cut on my video camera. Hey, I was just talking about this with Sharita while we're in the I don't know, I guess the gray room. I don't know what you call it over Zoom calls or whatever. But firstly, Mr. Ferguson, what was the funniest thing that happened to you today? The funniest thing.
Funniest thing? I got it. And listen, I was over in a whole nother location waiting on when was this thing gonna start. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm in the wrong location. So I literally had to run to the correct location with my daughter. And she was like, which way we going? And guess what? It started to rain a little bit. She's like, Dad, I have to find out where we're going because my hair is getting wet. And so that was like the farthest thing from my mind at the moment. I was just like, I just need to be where I needed to be. But that, to me, that was the funniest thing, because if I hadn't called, I would have just sat there like, hey, she's late. I don't know where they at. But however, I was like, I don't think we're in the right spot. So that had to be the funniest thing today.
Okay.
Russ, did you have a question?
I have more of a comment. Oh, sorry. You had another question. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I did. I definitely did. There's a follow-up one to that. It's like when it comes to distributions, like, so I'm kind of black. I'm kind of white. I'm a veteran. We just got done shooting over last weekend, and it's primarily created by Black people and also by veteran people. But there's a lot of college students there, and it was really like a collective bunch of people. And it's like I want to do the film justice and be able to do our crew and cast justice by putting this into the right category. It's like I don't want to play on like the whole like this is like it's a Black film, so yeah, like, do that whole thing, or like, oh, well, it's a military film and we're fighting for this and that in Ukraine or whatever, or anything. So what I'm asking is like what are some ways that you go about with distributing your films appropriately, correctly, and most importantly, doing your cast and crew the best that you can to be able to get them as much money as you possibly can get them?
Okay.
Great question.
So the two entities that I've been working with that have been working with distribution, Brian Thompson, he is the creator of Thanksgiving with the Carters series, among other projects that's on Maverick. And then I've been working with First, and he's huge in distribution as well. So both of them look at distribution in two different ways. And what I like to say is I'm learning from both of them. And I've known Brian longer than I've known First, but however, I'm learning I'm learning a lot from both of them. And the key thing is, as far as distribution, get them a good product. Because like with a lot of things right now, a lot of projects may have a few issues, maybe a few technical issues or whatever, but it's so many projects, people, they're still putting those projects out. Not to say it's bad, but the key thing is a good storyline. And if you have a good storyline, they will look past that and they'll say, okay, we can deal with this. And if they really like your work, you probably can, work out a deal with that particular distribution. You follow what I'm saying? So number one, you want a good product. Well, I'm gonna say number one is good storyline, but most importantly, a good product, because if you have a great storyline and the video is bad and the audio is bad and the actors are bad, they're not gonna care about the storyline because they're having a hard time getting through watching the product. But I watch a lot of independent projects on like Prime and stuff like that, and it's some bad stuff out there, like horrible. I mean, horrible. But however, what keeps me watching it is the storyline. So you like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm gonna watch the story. You know, it's a good. You know, you follow it because of the storyline. So if you have a good storyline, a good product, you can get distribution. It's just what you wanted to accept part of the financial side. If you want the upfront money, if they say give you, for instance, say like you got the, I don't know, Batman save Mitch McConnell from the Congress. I don't know, but I'm just whatever. But say like that's your project, and if it's a really good project, then they say, oh, okay, this is interesting. The storyline is great. Oh, okay. All right, so we're going to offer you $3,000, but nothing on the back end. Do you feel like you can, buy for more with a different production company, or you want to just take the 3 and say, let me just make a better project?
I will not take the 3, Mr. Ferguson. I will choose door number 2 to that one.
So what I was saying is, you may take 3 up front, and they might say, okay, let me see what else you had, and then okay, on the next one we'll give you some on the back end. But you just have to be able to negotiate your deal on what was good for you, because you may have to sacrifice that first project. You're like, okay, this is my first one, but when I do the second and third one, this is how much I'm standing on up front, and this is how much I want to back end, because I have to pay my actors. You know what I mean? So
I got you. I appreciate that. I'll let somebody else get the floor. Thank you so much, Mr. Ferguson.
Thank you for chiming in. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Next.
I'm sorry, someone. Yes, so Lamont, man, how's it going, man? It's good to see you.
What's up, Russ?
Sorry, I couldn't be there in person. But I just also a couple of these other questions. But also, guys, I want to let you guys know that Lamont is also a key connector in the film industry in this area.
Yes.
He recommends people for a lot of projects, and he doesn't ask for any credit or anything. He's a great connector. He's a good guy. He connected me with First, as he's mentioned, and that connection, even though we worked together on Mother of a Day, I was an associate producer on, but I had never met First up until we had the premiere. But Lamont connected us, and from that connection, I ended up directing my very first independent film. And that would not have happened without Lamont. So thank you very much for that, Lamont. I really greatly appreciate it. But also, I want to ask you about Fresh Option. And do you have anything exciting or something that you have planned coming up with Fresh Option TV?
Right now, we're in the rebuilding phase, like the Detroit Lions. We're in the rebuilding phase. So we understand when we took on this as a business, wanted to own our channel. Me and Ronald Lindsay, we both agreed that we are in it for the long haul. A lot of people look at things like, man, it's not popping yet, man. It's not popping, man. We've been in it 2 months. Like that. We've been in it for a year, and we still learning. We still trying to figure out what's the best things for our channel and how to move forward. We actually going to be putting together a plan tomorrow and how we're going to put a package together for someone for marketing or just to be able to present it, because being independent, you wear a lot of hats. And Ronna always say, and he work within your blessing. So whatever that is, work within that, and let those people who do what they do, let them, if they do marketing, let them do that. Let them have it. So we have to figure out what percentage that we will give them for marketing the channel and for bringing content to the channel. We have to work on the presentation, because when we first got the channel, we presented it to people, but there were people who wasn't understanding that they had to pay for a slot on our platform, which is being seen all over the world, you know, and you know, it's on Amazon Fire TV and Roku TV. It's literally all over the world. And we've had people turn us down like, oh, you want us to pay you for us to put our content on your channel? I'm like, so I try to break it down to explain, like, it's like radio, you know, you pay for time slots. With TV, you pay for time slots unless you're syndicated. So we have to, so tomorrow we're gonna be working on a plan on how to present this better so people can understand, like, yes, you do have to pay to play. So if you want to be seen all over the world in different countries, we can help you do that. But if you want to stay regional, that's fine. You know, if that's your choice, but don't look at it as like we're trying to scam you. We're not trying to scam you. You know, this is a good offer. We have analytics that proves people are seeing this stuff in Africa. Like, who around here can say that they have a show being seen in Africa? Like, you know, so I think it's on us as a team that we're not presenting it in a right manner. So that's what we're going to be working on tomorrow. And this is a year in, so we still learning. So once we put together the correct plan to be able to present to people so they can understand, like, oh, I get it. I understand. Oh, okay. So, and then we're going to be looking for content creators. So it's not going to be just, you know, the Ron and Ferg show, you know, presented and directed by Ron. So like with you, Russ, you know, you can have a project up there and it's like, we have nothing to do with it. It's just your project, you know. We're just we're providing that platform for people to be able to launch their stuff off on. And like I said, I just think it's just in the way that we are presented that have people confused. So that was a great question, and I appreciate that feedback.
So next we have a question from Sharita Watkins. Her question is, outside of personal money, what are some other financial resources we can use to make our films?
Vendors, sponsors. Sponsors are huge. I have a great friend of mine, Ciroc Fox. He's a comedian in the area. Phenomenal dude, phenomenal. And he is great at getting sponsorships. Yes. And he's a lot younger than me. I always call him and like, yo, Ciroc, how do I do this? How did you do that? So you can't be afraid to learn from other people, whether they're older than you or younger than you. You just got to go to those people that has that information, and to get that project sponsored and, you know, do vendors and stuff like that. You can raise money. People don't want to do GoFundMe anymore because they feel like asking for a handout, but technically you are, because when you ask for sponsorships, you're asking, hey, you know, can you sponsor me and give me some money so I can produce this project? So you are at the, you know, beck and call of other people, because it takes a whole village to produce a movie. Just watch a movie and then watch the credits. Look at all those people it takes. So yes, you know, if you can get sponsors and talk to other producers that's interested in that project, then you know, you all can go and have, and actually that's how me and Miss Nadine, like, once she saw the cafe and how it was ran and all that, she asked me like, oh, do you want to be a producer too? So pretty much we're going to be splitting the cost on the next episode. So the more producers you can have and sponsors and stuff like that, that helps. You know, if you say go to somebody, like, they may not be interested in movies, but hey, they might want to see their name up there, and hey, okay, we'll call you an executive producer, but you can give us $1,000, whatever, you know. So that's how you can get that done.
Are there any other questions?
Yes, it's me again, Jason. Yeah, so just to kind of speak to what you're talking about, we locked in this this pizza place from Virginia who specializes in 28-inch pizzas, and it's like, yeah, you know what 28 inches looks like. You think you do until you see it pizza form. It doesn't equate. Like you can't fathom it. You think you can, but you cannot. They're huge. They're ginormous. They're amazing. I kind of want to name drop, but I don't know if I can or not right now. That's why I'm here. I don't know if I could name drop their name or not. But one of my executive producers, she locked them in, said, "Hey, we'll give you branding if you give us free pizza."
Okay.
And that was one of the key components to our film was pizza. And, that it worked out. A lot of people said it wouldn't work for some reason. I was like, nah, get that out of here. So yeah, we got like $200. We fed the whole cast and crew for free. And all we had to do was put our actress in their clothing. So we got the costume for free too, more or less. And it was just like that, just that itself was just like so I was just like a huge accomplishment to be able to pull that off and like to have memorable, moments pertaining to that.
So I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's great. I mean, as long as you continue to do things like that, and what I would like to say is, people are going to tell you that you can't do something.
Oh, I mean, yeah,
sure. Some people nature. They want to tell you no before they say, "Oh, it's going to work." So if you don't have, you have to have that I guess fortitude, that drive. So when every time somebody tell you no, that you can't do something, that's how I work. The more you tell me I can't do it, the more I'm going to do it. And I'm from the city. I'm from Detroit, and then I had people where I worked at like, "You going to college? Oh, nah, you're not going to college. You're not going to be an actor." I mean, like, I've done a ton of stuff. So if I listen to those people that I worked with in Detroit, I would still be in Detroit and not achieving what I wanted to achieve, and I still haven't got to where I want to. And that's just a personal thing. My dad used to always tell me, like, each year I'm like, "Dad, I want to be here." And he would always tell me, "Well, were you here last year?" I'm like, "No." So then you further than last year. So as long as you further than your last year, you're doing all right.
Yeah, that's always a good rule of thumb to have.
Yeah.
So we got pizza for free this year by giving them a branding opportunity because we're gonna have it, film festivals and online and all that. But so the next project, how do we get them, not necessarily the same people, but how do we get a vendor to pay us? Say, hey, we want to pay y'all to be able to put our brand, our company in your film. Like, I
would honestly, I would show them, to let them know that you actually completed the project. Let them know, and let them know that you already had, hey, I have offers. You can stretch it too. I have offers. I want to know, do you want to be a part of the offers that I already have? You know what I mean? So if you move forward and you already got somebody to sponsor you and you're looking for other sponsorship, just say, "Yes, I have offers right now. I would like to add you to my list of sponsors. And when you say, "I would like to add you to my list of sponsors," they go, "Oh, this guy got it together." I'm sorry, I got to ask someone else have their hand raised. But good stuff, though, man.
Appreciate that.
All right, no problem.
So let's see, A.T. Lynn, am I saying that correctly? Has a question?
You are, and I was going to stay hidden because I just had salad, but what the heck?
That's okay.
Well, I'm so glad I got in for the Q&A. I'm on the other coast and got confused about time. So first
Wow.
question is Shenandia.
Yeah, Shenadiah, yes.
Tonight.
Uh-huh.
Could I get a recording of the first part of this?
Oh, you will be able to get a recording of this through the email Virginia Production Alliance that sent you the link.
Okay.
So when this is over, the recording will upload to the cloud, and they will have it available for those who have either missed it completely or seen it, or who wants to see it again. So as long as you have registered, you should be able to recall or have it afterwards.
Perfect. Yes, I did. There are many reasons why I wanted to see Mr. Ferguson or Lamont. Which would you prefer?
Lamont is fine. Thank you.
Okay. Especially because your talk is the theme of my Regent MFA portfolio project, is going from prose to scripts.
Oh,
Wow.
I'd love to hear what you have to say. I'm looking forward to listening when I can watch it later. And when I finally got brought into this, I was thrilled to hear you talk about pay what you promise.
Right.
Don't ignore those promises. I just thought that was, that's just so sound in all businesses. And but I am calling, or I'm wanting to ask you, when I joined VPA, it was because I'm a screenwriter and I'm getting my master's there at Regent University.
Right.
But I found out that the VPA will not consider my scripts because I don't live in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering if you knew of organizations on your coast that might look at student scripts, their shorts, that's what I've been working with, that would consider, even if I'm, as some people say, left coasted. Not quite sure what that means, but do you?
Okay,
have
so
suggestions?
the information that I know of is the Virginia Screenwriters Guild. You should be able to contact them.
Okay.
And because you're a student, which makes sense. You're a student at Regent, which is weird. So you should.
Yes, she should be. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So my district is the district that does the screenwriting, the Hampton Roads, the Virginia Production Alliance Screenwriters Competition. And if you are a student of Virginia, you should be still allowed to submit your work.
Right.
Oh, great. 'Cause
Yes.
one of my scripts takes place in Hampton Roads Private Airport.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
Wow.
So, I really wanted to see if somebody wanted to look at that and just give it a world review in contrast or in combination with what comments I got from the university.
So you look at, if I reviewed it, would that help you with your class? Was that what you're
It would
saying?
help me with my class, Lamont. It would help me with my heart and my profession.
Okay.
That part of the
Okay, so what I can do, I can give you my email. It's 19. Actually, you want to type it in?
19 Berg 19 Berg 79.
No, it's 19ferg 97 at Gmail.
The reason why I sort of knew that was I started to write to you and say, I can't get in, I'm late, I missed you, can I have a copy? And then somebody let me into the Q&A, so that's how I got in late. But yes, so I'm glad to know that works because I got that off your website.
97 at Gmail. Okay, so Ms. Shenadiah is actually typing it in the chat now.
Oh, fabulous. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, you can shoot it to me, then I'll read it and connect with you.
Wow.
And help you out with that. That's no problem.
That's very generous of you. Thank you.
And no problem. I thank you for registering.
One last question. From book to screenplay to film, did you write the book that then you?
No, I did not write the book.
Oh, okay.
I did not write the book. But what I guess what I need to do is write a book and then convert my own book to a screenplay under a pen name. I was just talking to my buddy here, Elwood. I said, Elwood, I think I need a pen name. So I might
Oh,
do
is
that.
that kind of book?
Huh?
That kind of book? You don't want to admit the content?
I don't know what kind of book yet, but I think it's a great idea to write my own book and then convert my own book into a screenplay and then sell it at the same time.
And then, you know what you do after that? Even before your screenplay is bought for the film, then you novelize your screenplay, which is you turn your screenplay, which of course is going to be different than your book. You take your screenplay and turn it back into a piece of prose. That is becoming more and more popular. Like people who want to keep reading about Luke Skywalker when there's not a new, a new film out.
Right.
So
Right.
that's kind of what my whole thesis is, that a screenwriter can benefit so much from learning how to write in prose because they go back into the internal story of the character. They also can drop right into the landscape and use more. It's so that when they're writing the screenplay, it's richer with verbs.
Right.
With verbs and nouns rather than vague. It gets
Right.
sharper. But anyway, that's more about me. I hadn't planned to say, but wow, how generous. I will accept your offer. Thank you so much for letting me speak.
No problem. Thank you for registering. I appreciate it. Where are you from? You said the other coast. Where, California?
I am in the Bay Area. Yep, right outside that window is San Francisco Bay. Yeah.
Okay, San Francisco.
It was pretty cool today. I usually swim in it. It gets a little chilly.
Well, speaking of, this is the first version of this that we did in November, the book to screenplay to film was with Jasmine Deanne Andrews, and she actually wrote a book and turned it into a screenplay and then turned it into a film. And this version in take two, this is when an established writer takes a book and writes it into a screenplay, to turn it into a film or mini films. So that the first version was a little bit more along the lines of what you're speaking of. However, in this version, we talk about those who are just established and who want to take another piece of work and create something from that. So just FYI. You're mute.
Would it be possible if you filmed it for you to send me the link of that first one?
What you can do is make that request when you request from that same email address, the Virginia Production Alliance, to have this particular link. Request that one too, and to see if they will. I am not 100%. However, I will speak with them to see if that is possible. But it was recorded.
Thanks again.
Okay. If there are no more questions, I will like to end the question and answer portion of it, if there are no more questions. And thank you so much. Thank you, Lamont.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you all for being here.
Thank you. And also, I think you already did it, because the next thing I was going to see if you would do is to see how we, let us know how we could reach you. So we have an email address. It's already posted.
I'm on Facebook, Instagram at Comedy by Ferg. If you are in the local area, I am in a stage play, or I'm gonna say August, Jesus. April the 9th and 10th, you come see me in that, as all that information is there. So please support your local actors, writers, producers, and all that stuff, and come through. And if they have a casting call, come through, whatever. Just support. Just whether you buy a book or whether you purchase a ticket, can't come, that's fine. But we also love people in seats. We also love people. A lot of people love buying tickets and I'm just supporting, but we also love people in seats. But yeah, so you can catch me on, like I said, Facebook, Instagram. I'm on TikTok. And you might even catch me at 7-Eleven, but and Wawa. But yeah, I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you. We also like to thank Trina and the Percolator for allowing us to use this space. A lovely space. It's an office space, in case any of you are wondering what the Percolator is. It's a beautiful office space. There's actually many locations. As he said earlier, he was sitting at a different location right across the street. And I know there used to be a spot at MacArthur Mall, and then another one down the street. They called that the Ford campus. However, I'm not quite sure what has become of them so far. But this is one of the spaces that we were able to.
All right, thanks, guys. You're the best.
Also, thank you guys for coming. Thank everyone for attending. Thank everyone for who zoomed in. We really appreciate you. If you would like to, if you haven't already, and you would like to join Virginia Production Alliance, you can go to virginiaproductionalliance.org to join. We would love to have you. We have a lot more events coming up this year now that, the world is opening back up. So 2022, we get to see each other again because we've had 2 years where we really could not see each other. And it was suggested that we stay apart, but now we get to see each other. So keep a lookout for events to come. Take a look out for another book to screenplay to film series. And thank you. So thank you for tuning in. My name is Shenadiah Nicole.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And
Insane.
there it is.